All right, we are rolling. All right, Matt, your pop quiz here, Crashing Wings.
Oh boy. This is where I remember part of it. I don't remember all of it because I remember it was a rear bear hug, but my arms are free because I
Correct.
remember it was here, and that's where I lose it. So I
All
get to
right.
this part, I'm like, because I remember it's really hammer hard, but I know I remember it's close too. I want to get in close. I just don't remember the rest.
That's right. That's pretty much all you need, right? If we're being practical about it, you drive those elbows in, it's going to hurt his arms. He's going to let go, and then you can improvise after that. But let's see the full technique here. So when I get bear hug, even before I do my move, the first thing I want to do is lower my center of gravity so that he's not able to hoist me as easily. So at the moment I feel those arms coming around my body, I'm already a little bit lower. But I'm going to step out. We can step out with the right foot as we crack with those elbow straights. And you can see here I'm bent over and I'm putting my butt on his thigh. And that makes it really hard for him to lift, because if you're sitting on his leg, he's not able to do the squat to pick you up because you're sitting pushing down. So you're resisting his lift. So that's a big thing to keep in mind there. So you got your step and crash. Now take this foot and we're going to cat around the outside of his leg. And I want your foot right up against his heel, and this knee is going to be right up against his knee. And as you do that, you're going to crack him in the face with your elbow.
Give me 1 second. For some reason, my goofy, keep recording, but for whatever reason, hey, there we go. Praise God for technology sometimes. Okay. Would you show that? Because I remember, because it is here, and then it was a cat around to the back, correct?
Oh, yes. Start from the beginning one more time, and make sure your first step is out with the right foot. You're stepping out with the right as you crash, not out with the left. Yep.
Because it's here.
And now the left foot cats around as you crack him in the face.
Okay, that's right, because it's here.
Yep. Now
it's an immediate elbow strike.
Larry, this is the part that's going to look and feel a little different.
Okay.
Your left arm is going to wrap around and hug. So his arm is under your armpit, and it's just like you're hugging a football. Your hand is going to squeeze his tricep. Your elbow is going to flap. So think of like Heisman Trophy, right? You're going to wrap and hug. The right hand is going to grab his lapel. So you've got 3 points of contact. You've got a knee on his knee. You've got the arm hug, and you've got a shoulder. So you've got this guy for half a second anyways. You've got a good feel on him. From here, the left foot is going to step out to make a little room, and you're going to reap, taking him down to the ground. That right leg is going to cat around behind and reap.
Okay, yep, and drop him back down this way. Okay.
That's great. So the right hand, you're thinking about grabbing his left lapel here at the shoulder to drive him down. If he's not wearing a decent shirt, you can grab his throat with your right hand. Just grab something, a throat, a lapel, and drive him down to the ground. Now, Larry, you might remember back in the day, it used to be like an elbow hammer fist, and we just kind of stood there and kept our fingers crossed that he would fall. But that always felt a little precarious. So I like to, after cracking him in the face, I like to just make sure that he goes down, and it's a lot more solid.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. Now let's do one follow-up strike. I eliminated all the extensions, but since you got him on the ground there, you might as well mess up his face. So
of course,
after the takedown, his arm that was pinned, that you were hugging, is going to slide out, kind of like a I don't know what you'd think of it, like someone drawing a sword from a sheath, right? As that comes out, you're going to lock down on his wrist with your left hand. The right hand is going to match. So you've got two hands on his wrist. You're going to drive a stomp into his armpit or his rib cage or his face or a collarbone. You're just going to pick something here and stomp, and then you can discard. Yep, let's see it.
Okay.
grab and stomp. Then you can throw away that wrist and do a front crossover stomp as you cover out. Yep. All right. I'm going to stop jumping around and I'm going to watch you guys a little closer. Let's see it, Matt. Larry, you were looking really sharp there, by the way.
Thank you.
Well, he always looks sharp.
Yes.
Cheater. No. Okay, so he's got me. So it's here.
Yep.
Come on. No. Here. Because then it's.
Yep.
Because then
Heading around.
Because you cat around here. Grab. Reap.
Yep.
Because I got to remember, I forgot. I got to grab a handful of lapel. Reap. Drop him as he goes down. I can let go because I've got to grab his arm as it's coming up. Stomp. And then stomp again, basically.
Let's make it one stomp. I mean, realistically, you can do whatever you want. But what I'm thinking is a right stomp and then a right front crossover stomp. The crossover is to his wrist. After you let go, his arm is going to fall. So stomp and then. Stomp.
Sure.
Perfect. That was it, Matt. That looks really good.
I understand that because as his arm flops down, because I've just basically separated his shoulder.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes perfect sense. Sure. Totally understand it.
Yeah, let's lather, rinse, repeat a few times, and then I want to bounce to a yellow belt technique, the captured twigs, so we can appreciate how these two work together.
Sure. So he's got me. So here.
Yeah, that looks really good. That looks
really good. It keeps him in fairly close proximity. I'm not getting. I feel better about my foot movement. Because I had quite a tendency to really step wide. I've been working on that to keep my foot movement a little more compact.
Yeah. That looks really good. Now, one thing that comes up, a question I get from students, namely my son, when we were doing this technique is, why are we going around the outside of his leg? That feels kind of weird or different or goofy. Why don't we go in between his legs? And it depends entirely on how he's standing. If he's in a wide horse stance when he's bear hugging you, it may be awkward to try to go all the way around the outside of his leg. You may want to just step between right to his center line and crack him in the face with that elbow. If though he's got you in the bear hug and he's got his right foot already forward, he's in a right neutral, and he's going to do something, but he's not horse stance, but he's a little bit more bladed in his position. Then when you step out, he's actually closed off, right? His center line is not as available to you. So going around the outside makes more sense. So it's just a matter of positioning. So let's take a moment now and do the yellow belt technique, captured twigs, because that one has us striking his center line. And what you can realize is that it doesn't matter whether you start arms pinned or arms free. You can go inside of his leg or you can go outside of his leg, depending on whatever makes sense. So, but when we look at the curriculum, arms pinned is inside, arms free is outside, but that doesn't really matter. Let's do captured twigs here, and hopefully you'll appreciate what I'm driving at here. So captured twigs is arms pinned.
Yep.
And
because then it's from here, it's step, because it's pin his arms, step and strike.
That's right. Let's do the opposite side of captured twigs, only so that it lines up better with what we were doing there on crashing wings. So
understand.
We're going to pin with the left. Wait, what side did we do on captured twigs?
It'd be pin with the right.
We step with the right and we elbow with the left. So let's step with the right on this one. We're going to pin with the right, step with the right, and we're going to hammer to the groin. Yep, and it's that same stance where we're sitting on his thigh or on his knee, and that prevents him from lifting us. So one more time, right pin, right step, and hammer fist. That's really all you need to win the fight, right? 2 or 3 of those, and he's going to let go. But let's say that he needs an extra hit. We're going to take our left foot, and instead of catting around the outside, we're going to step straight back towards 6, right in between his feet, and we're going to crack him in the face with an elbow, just like you're starting a lawnmower, just like we did there in captured crashing wings. Boom. Yeah. So one more time. We're in the bear hug. The moment we feel his arms, we drop our center of gravity a little bit so that we're not as easy to throw. But from there, we're going to pin step and drop further as we hammer to the groin. We're going to step directly between his feet, right at his center line, and crack him in the face with our elbow. Boom. Now from there, the left hand can take over pinning whatever hand you need. Usually it's a pin at the elbow. Pin whatever you need. Get his hands out of your face. Right hand is guarding. You can gauge the distance by dragging up to a cat stance if you have to. I wouldn't necessarily drag back into the cat stance, but I think I would drag my right foot up and then settle into a left cat or a left side kick to his knee, the inside of his left knee. Yep, and then you can cover out.
I still have to practice some of the cover out from that point.
Oh,
It's just, and some of it is just, where do I wind up with orientation as I do the cover out? Because so I've got my side kick, come back down. Is my cover out this way, or does it matter?
It doesn't really matter as long as it makes sense. So like if you want to think of your room that you're in as context, you might want to cover out towards, a place that you can exit.
Okay. Because then it would be the way I did, but I still want to orient to him.
Right.
And but I also want to check, because I remember we talked about this, because as I do it, my cross here checks this way. My cross here checks this way.
That's right. Yeah. So you can really pick any o'clock that you want to. Okay. My recommendation would be to stay consistent, though. Sometimes when I see people cover out, their first step is to like 4:30, their second step is to 7:30, and the average kind of works its way out towards 6 o'clock. But the cover out kind of looks like a zigzag. And what I would prefer to see is like step, 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 all in 1 o'clock. Pick a direction and move that way. 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
yes.
I understand. Sure. But my body can orient
yes.
to get the view correct. I don't need to step that way. Okay.
Right.
That's kind of what I assumed as I'm headed in a direction, but I do need to orient so I can have situational awareness.
Absolutely.
Okay. That's what I thought.
Yeah. I'm again mainly thinking of my son. Sometimes when he would cover out, this is when he was younger, his cover outs were kind of like this. And
sure.
You can see that he's going through the motions, but he didn't really pick a direction. He kind of went side to side and didn't get much. But if I'm picking this direction and you go 1, you can see I got much further away from you because I picked one direction and stuck with it. So let's try this one more time here. Arms pin. You've got the right pin, the right step, and a left hammer fist. You're going to step to him and think about starting a lawnmower as you crack him in the face with your elbow. Left hand pins. The right foot will roll up into a cat stance. And the left kick will fire into the knee. And now what I like to do, I like to kick and plant down just to really emphasize that my weight was behind that kick and then cover out. It's not wrong. It's not wrong to kick and go straight into the cover out. But sometimes what I find is that I'm focused on the cover out, that my kick is kind of superficial.
Right.
So in order to avoid a superficial kick, what I want to do is I want to visualize breaking a board. So you're here in the cat stance, break a board. You're going to have commitment into that kick, and then you get out of it. So don't let your strikes be superficial. You want to break everything that you touch.
So
I saw Larry's inserting knees there.
I stopped.
No, that's fine. There's no wrong answer as long as you're hurting the bad guy. Now let's switch gears back to crashing wings. So hopefully this isn't too much whiplash. But let's do crashing wings. We're going to start crashing wings, but we're going to finish captured twigs. So we're in a bear hug arms free. We're going to step and crash. But now, instead of patting around, let's go directly between his feet with the elbow. And now we have our sidekick.
Oh, sure.
So you can see that the two techniques are pretty much the same thing. It just depends on, yep. So if you go between his legs, there's no cat around. You just step straight to it. Yes.
Okay.
Really good.
Understand.
And now let's go back to crashing wings the way it's written, which is to cat around. So we're in the bear hug, arms free. We're going to step and crash. Let's go ahead and cat all the way around the outside with our elbow. Boom. But now here, the side kick doesn't make any sense. So we're going to wrap and we're going to take him down. We've got two stomps, a heel stomp into his armpit and then a front crossover stomp as we go. Very good. So that's it for bear hugs. Larry, you might recall a half a dozen other bear hug moves, but that's it. That's all we need. And they make a lot of sense. They go together. They complement each other. We do have a couple of other two-man bear hug moves, but they're just plays off of these same two techniques. It's crashing wings with an extra guy, or it's captured twigs with an extra guy. So pretty simple, straightforward. Do you guys want to do opposite side to everything, or do you want to move on to another move?
That wouldn't actually hurt, just to make sure I'm catching both sides, because I still find every once in a while just got to reorient my head a little bit.
Okay.
But nothing. It's good for the practice.
Yeah, let's do opposite side then. You can pick your move, whichever one you want to start with.
So just like crashing wings, we've been working this way. So if I go here,
Mm-hmm.
come on, Matthew. Because it's here.
Yep. Cat around.
Why am I clutch? Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking. But for some reason, I was, because it's, yeah.
That's it.
Because it's an elbow strike, right?
Yep. Cat around and elbow to the face.
I have no idea why I'm having a total brain cramp right there. No idea. So,
hey, Larry, the only tip I want to give you is after you elbow and wrap, make sure your other hand is actively grabbing his lapel. So you want to have 3 points of contact. You want your knee, you want the arm wrap, and a solid grab before you initiate that takedown. You want to really feel him on all 3 points, and then boom, take him down. If your other hand is free and not touching him while you're stepping out and around, you're gonna feel, yes, you got the wrap, you've got a solid grab. Don't just do an open hand on his chest, but a solid grab of his lapel and your knee on his knee. Now you step out and around and take him down. Okay. And by having that tactile connection, you're gonna feel more in control.
Okay.
Yep, that looks very good. Let's see.
Am I getting too short of a cover out there?
Well, let's see one more time.
Because as I reap and drop, stomp, come across, and I'm a little short. I got an obstruction here.
Yeah, but if you, that was the right direction to cover out if you're ignoring the room. If you want to take all that into consideration, then you might cover out the other way. Or just you might skip the front crossover stomp. You might just step back with your left foot and cover out towards the garage door. Yeah, something like that. But I try to give you could start in the middle of the room and or closer to your exit, and maybe then you'll have more room to cover out in the standard issue.
I had that issue.
But even then, even if for some reason I'm kind of in a confined space, the cover outs are still good. If I stomp here, I still need to clear, then come back. Am I thinking correctly?
Well, yeah. So, I mean, you can argue in any direction. What you just did
Okay.
there, though, one argument against it would be is that you flashed your center line. So, like if I'm facing you, and I do this, you can see how there was a moment in time where all my targets were revealed, and then I do it again. I'm flashing, and I'm going straight back. All of this is exposing my center line. But the first two steps, you're supposed to distance yourself while protecting your center line. And it's only at this distance then where I do a full step through, and I'm at less risk of being hit because I've already opened that distance. So, so you've got a left stomp to the armpit.
Okay.
If we're going by the book, it's a left stomp into the armpit, a left front crossover stomp to his wrist.
Right.
Yeah. And then you finish your cover out. But you can just improvise if the room, in reality, if the room doesn't allow for all that.
It was just one of those things, just thinking of how to make sure I can still cover correctly, even in limited space. You know, because part of the cover out is checking surroundings, making sure that I'm not being approached from another side that I haven't cleared.
Right. So I suppose what you could do a left stomp. You could step back with that left foot instead of doing your front crossover stomp, and then initiate the cover with your right foot. Go right front crossover, double cover out, and that gets you going towards the garage door there. So
okay, sure.
I would say just follow your instincts, whatever whatever makes sense. Let's do the captured twigs on the left side. Well, I guess it's on the right side, but our opposite of what we did before.
Correct. Yeah, because we did it the other way that time. So sure, because it's here, then it's yeah.
Yep.
Just one small balance issue I had. That's why the hesitation suddenly happened, because I didn't want to fall over funny, so I had to get my ankle straightened out. It was just I came up to kick and I realized I had overdone it. and I remember watching the videos to not get cocked back so far, and I did exactly what I wasn't supposed to do. Because as I hit, I wanted to just scoop and hit him and then cover.
Yeah, I think for balance and follow through, what I like to do after that elbow is drag up with the rear foot, catting the front foot, and kick rather than drawing that. Yeah, because think about him just getting hit in the face with the elbow. He's not going to be around anyways. So boom, now you got to chase him down. Yes, you could even. Whoa, almost lost my computer there. You could even front crossover. If you hit him in the face with that elbow, kablowie, and he's really far away, you may need a full left front crossover to get him with that kick. So it's really just a gauging step, whatever you need to chase him down.
Oh, but that makes that makes a lot of sense then. Okay, and that actually overcomes a significant amount of potential balance issues, because if I hit him here, drag up, then it's back.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, there's the balance concern just goes out the window.
Yeah, completely. And that's so funny, because it's funny how that changes as you bring the body back. See, don't laugh at me and my stupid ankles. It's funny how the body does that, coming back this way versus just taking the drag step up. It's weird.
I think it happens even without ankle issues. Just the act of drawing your weight back is enough to kind of take away from that kick. Now you might say, well, we do it in delayed sword. Why do we do it in delayed sword? But in delayed sword, and maybe that's worth revisiting now, is I now make a point to not explicitly cat. I go from a neutral bow into the front kick. And any cat stance is like just sort of a technicality as I'm chambering my kick. So I'll show you what I mean.
Right.
let's do
Right.
delayed sword. So he's
Sure.
grabbing a lapel, and I'm gonna. You can't see me, but I'm preparing really big like this for my
Right.
inward block. Boom! I've got my inward block, and now I do not want to do this. I don't want a cat because of that same thing we just talked about. Where I feel like I'm falling backwards. So instead, it's straight into the kick. You have block, and then from here, I'm just going to lift and fire it. Kick, chop. So you could say there's technically a cat stance right here, right there, as I'm lifting to chamber, but I'm not actually going to draw my foot back heel to heel. So when I execute it in my mind, I'm thinking block, kick, chop. Those are the only three things. So you step with the block.
So and you don't pin and I think I have seen, no, that was something else. Never mind. Because I don't want to pin. I don't need to pin him. I just have to remember to check down here.
That's right. Yeah. I think some people, some systems of Kenpo, they do include a pin, at least for part of the movement, if not the whole thing. I don't like the pin because to me, the whole purpose of the block is to knock his arm off. So if I'm pinning, I'm kind of precluding my objective, which is to remove his arm. So let's do it one more time here, and we'll think about smashing his arm. And Larry, when you've got your other hand pinning or checking, I like to keep it a little closer to my torso. Don't let it get too far out there away from you. But
Okay.
keep it more like that. So let's see here one more time. So we got the big preparation for striking his arm. Now, even though we're not going to cat, let's come up to a really solid chamber. We'll chamber and hold it. And now we're going to extend, rechamber, and then chop. Yeah. And that chop, I like to, again, think about breaking boards. Don't let it be a jab. But
Right.
I want you to channel, I want you to think of yourself as like a really super cool, super old Okinawan karate master. And those guys, every strike they do, they're just shattering boards, right? Nothing is a jab, nothing is superficial, everything is annihilation. So when you do that chop, I don't want you to draw it back up to your ear. I want you to annihilate the opponent. So one more time here, you got your big preparation. This inward block is shattering his radius. Boom. You got a kick to the groin. And then destroying his neck with that chop. Yep. Very good.
That's been getting quite a bit better, especially when I don't step back too far. Every time I wind up stepping back too far, that really messes everything up because it delays where I need to be. I wind up being way too far from my target.
Yeah.
So I have to remember to step short.
That's exactly right. You got to know that front kick is what you're relying on to end the fight. So as you're doing the block, you're thinking ahead. I need that front kick ready. So let me step to make that happen. Let's do the opposite side a couple times here. Delayed sword. So you got a big preparation up by the eyebrow. Stepping back, hammering with that inward block, going directly into the front kick, and hammering with that chop. Yep. And this technique is great because it works against a grab, it works against a push, and you don't have to necessarily wait to figure out what he's doing. He's just got hands on you or coming at you, and you just start knocking him out of the way.
Okay. Next.
Next is up to you. If you want to bounce back to orange belt or anything else.
If you don't mind, the one that still plagues me a little bit, and it is back to yellow belt, is Sword of Destruction.
That's right.
Yeah, it's the one it's the grab from behind. And
Yeah.
it's only for me. It's still a timing issue, and it just plagues me to no end. And I don't quite. I wish it wasn't, but it's worth practicing.
Now, Larry, you'll remember this as a defense against a hook punch, but I've used it in place of sword and hammer. I eliminated sword and hammer, and we now use sword of destruction to defend against a lapel grab.
Oh,
It still works against a hook punch, but
perfect.
Yeah, I think you'll see here it feels a lot better than the sword and hammer.
Yeah.
Oh, because I remember in the video you were describing different uses for sword of destruction. With one was like an eskrima, one was with a much longer stick. You used it in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, it definitely has its applications. In Parker's system, it was a defense against a hook punch, but I tried for the defenses against strikes. I've only picked 2 techniques that are robust, so you don't even have to worry about what he's throwing at you. You just do your move, and it works every time. The sword of destruction against a hook punch is very bespoke, I think, and so it requires more thought process in the middle. Like, what is he throwing? Is that it's not a straight, it's a hook. It's not a right, it's a left. Okay, I'm going to do my sword of destruction. So to eliminate all that thinking, I don't have it now as a defense against a strike, but it works great as a lapel grab because there is that moment of pause where he's grabbing you and you're like, oh, obviously that's an arm on my shoulder. I know how to knock that off. It's not as startling as a punch where you don't know where they're coming from. This is obvious. It's right there. He's grabbing you. So we're going to do sword of destruction. So let's do it here. So let's think of the best angle here. Okay, so this is my 12 o'clock. I'm going to have my bad guy at my 3 o'clock grabbing my shoulder. But even if I turn my back and now he's more at my 4:30 or 5 o'clock, it doesn't really matter. So he's in my obscure zone here, grabbing my right shoulder. My left foot is going to step out towards my 1:30 or so, and I'm going to face him in right neutral both and extended outward block. And that's going to knock his arm off of my shoulder. So you can look first to make sure it's not a loved one or a family member, and then you're going to step out and strike his arm off your shoulder. And from there, it's a right kick to the groin and a right chop to the neck.
Okay. For whatever reason, and I wish I could tell you why. It's always here, especially when I turn the other way. If it's coming from the other side, it's every time I mess up. I think I just have to practice it. But some of it too is I wind up this way in my block, and I know I shouldn't be. I need to be neutral bone.
Yeah, it's knowing in advance where that foot needs to be for the front kick to be effective. So now the tip I'll give Larry, and this is good for Matt as well, is don't think about shuffling away. It's not push dragging away from him, because that front kick, I'll do it wrong here and you'll see, the front kick won't reach.
Yeah, it felt like it wouldn't reach.
Yeah. So if I'll do my left side here, if he's over here, and if I push drag away, if I push drag towards 12 into a cat stance, it's going to be whiff.
Yeah.
So what I need to do, if I'm doing my left side here, I'm going to step towards like 9:30 or 10 o'clock. I want to stay at him in my stance. I'm really just sinking. It's a rotation. You can think of it like a dancer spins on an axis.
Yeah.
I'm really just spinning on my axis as I drop and block, and now I'm well within range for those 2 kicks.
I see.
Come farther. I need to shorten that up quite a ways. I think my tendency is to want to step out too far, and as it occurs, because I recognize it, and he's here on this right side, and I don't know, maybe that's perspective, and maybe if you could help. How much different would it be if they're directly behind you? It shouldn't be any different, as I understand it. What are the differences if he's directly behind?
Well, so I'm going to give Larry one tip here because I saw him moving, and then I'll answer your question. Sure. So Larry, don't make it 2 steps. Don't do right step, then left step. just pivot on the right.
Oh, you're just pivoting.
Yeah, pivot on the right as you step with the left. But
Okay.
Otherwise, it looked really good. So, Matt, to your question, I don't think he'll be directly behind you because it's his left hand to your right shoulder. So he's going to he's going to be, his center line will be a little off of your center line. Yeah, right there.
Kind of right behind my right leg.
Exactly. So what I would say is just think about stepping. Just shorten up that step. There, it looked like you stepped more. Yeah, just aim for that. Put a dot on the floor or whatever it is, and just know where that foot needs to go.
Okay.
Yeah, that looks good.
Was that a chop? What did you finish with?
It's the inward downward diagonal hand sword to the neck.
Okay.
Because this one comes from the outside because delayed sword comes from the inside.
That's right. That looks very good.
The one thing I don't want to do is I want to make sure I have a good rigid foot. I don't want to flop that foot out there like I'm soccer kicking or nothing. I want a good hit.
Yeah.
Sorry, bag.
Yeah. And you can pick either the ball of the foot or the top where you tie your shoelaces. I tend, by default, to go ball of the foot. But you, in the moment, you may mix it up depending on what he's wearing and how his legs are positioned. I like the ball of the foot because it's universally devastating. If he suddenly has his center line closed and you take the ball of your foot and you kick his rib cage, you can shatter his rib cage. If you kick his thigh, you'll give him a Charlie horse or break his femur. Like, the ball of the foot is just, it almost doesn't matter what you hit. You just destroy your target like you're breaking a board. With the kicking,
no, please go ahead.
Picking up with the top of the foot is great if you're targeting the groin specifically. And if it kind of also depends on the clothing that he's wearing. You're thinking about the target that you're striking, and if you kick up, you could maybe go too far and not actually hit the groin, but hit more of his ischium, his pubic bone area, or something like that. So the front kick, I think, is more robust in that even if you don't hit the groin, maybe you hit the bladder. That's still terrible, right? And with all the force of the ball of the foot, you're destroying whatever you hit. So without thinking too much, I tend to just go ball of the foot. There are a couple of techniques. I can think of one where we disarm an opponent and put him in a wrist lock, and I kick up into his face. And there I think about pointing my toe because he's bent over, and I want everything to go up into his face because he's so close too. So you can find arguments for or against and do what you like. But those were my thoughts.
I just realized as you were talking, I realized I had erred for some dumb reason. I was doing a side kick.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, my own fault. Totally my own fault.
Yeah.
And I was going for a leg, which a side kick would work, but it's the wrong move. We're aiming for there. So
yeah.
Okay.
From the perspective of the curriculum, you could say it's quote unquote wrong, but in the heat of the moment, if you knock his arm off and you shatter his kneecap with a side kick, right? I'm still giving you a high five afterwards, right? We're going out for things, right? So it works.
Okay. Yeah, that makes and I think that will make things.
Yeah, that looks really good. Yeah, and the side kick will makes it kind of awkward, I think, on the hip to come back for the chop. So maybe that's why the balance and the step was feeling funny. The front kick, when you set up for that, the hips are square, and so it flies.
And that's exactly what was going on. As soon as I switched over to a regular front kick, everything lined up. I dropped straight in. I was able to get a good chop. Everything was fine.
Great. All right. Well, let's lather, rinse, repeat, so that front kick stays with us.
Okay. Too deep.
Now let's answer the what if question. What if you do step too deep? Because he's not going to give you a redo, right? So if you do step too deep, just drag up with the rear foot. Yeah, just
Yeah.
correct your mistake in the moment. So you're basically doing step. You step too deep, then you drag up, boom, boom. Yep. It's not ideal, right? We're not going to train that way, but if it happens, that's your solution.
And that's a better solution than staying in it and committing to too long a kick.
Yeah. Oh, maybe an even better solution rather than the drag up into the kick would be to do a gravity kick. So as you fire that front kick, let it pull you, like drag the rear foot, like a Bruce Lee kind of a sliding kick. Yeah.
Harder to do, but
it depends on the knees and the ankles and all that and the surface you're standing on. But that would be if anytime I'm firing a kick and suddenly the opponent is moving out of range just as I was hoping to land it, all you have to do is kind of make it a sloppy kick and suddenly you've hit your target.
okay. It'll be lower because you'll wind up it'll drop on you. Your end point will drop on you a little bit.
A little bit, yeah, depending on if you're really caught off guard there. But otherwise, aim higher and you'll still hit where you wanted.
I'm going to do the other side.
Yep, that sounds good.
Okay. No. I was thinking, what's this one?
You doing thrusting salute?
Yeah, there you go. I headed right into thrusting salute. So it's the hand movement. I remember you talked about it, because
that's
this might be one to just work on making sure both ways I can do it because I need this check here.
Now, Larry, my tip to you would be to use a closed fist when you do the block.
Ooh.
And you might say, well, why does that matter? And it kind of doesn't. You can do whatever you want.
Wait, what am I doing now?
Well, you were circling out and you had an open-handed.
Oh, okay.
So you might say, well, what difference does this make? Well, when I do a block with an open hand, I tend to think of actually blocking with the hand, like more of a knife hand block. When I block with a closed fist, I'm no longer thinking about fist. I'm thinking about forearm. And he's so close to you. He's grabbing and pulling you. The knife hand is going to be kind of like a little funny, right? You'll have to forgive my bruise here. The knife hand is a little funny, but if you get your forearm in there, it just feels like you can really push through and knock his arm off. So make sure you're thinking about this. And me having my fist closed ensures that I'm thinking about the right part, because we will have other techniques down the line where we think more about sort of a knife hand guard, which you can see my forearm isn't really engaged at all, right? It's this thing. So like bring it up a little bit like that.
Oh no.
I just want to step.
Yep. Now, Larry, make sure that your first step isn't too far from him. So really pivot on a think of an axis of rotation on your left foot there, and you're spinning around, and you're really not traveling far from him at all. You're just turning around to face him. Yeah. And besides, he's grabbing you anyways. So don't think that you're going to get away just by stepping, right? He's grabbing and hanging on to you. You really have to pivot on that. Yes. Oh, that looked really good. Axis of rotation. And then you got boom, boom. He's right there. Let's see you, Matt. Can you rotate on that, on that left foot?
Yeah. I wouldn't do too bad, but
That's it. Very good.
I have to, and I need to quit taking that step. I take the one baby step with that right foot. I don't.
Yeah, it's hard.
I have no excuse.
Mentally, I keep thinking of taking the step, and then I have to tell myself not to do it.
Oh, you do it too? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't do it with the right side.
Oh, okay. I do it on both sides.
Oh, see, when I come around with the right, I'm fine. I can come back. For some reason, when I come around with the left, I want to take that charging step and then come up and fire.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of having that as your focus from the beginning. Where am I going to step and getting that left? But I think it comes. I can appreciate why it happens. If you're naturally right-handed and right-footed, maybe the left foot feels like it needs a little extra support, a little extra preparation for balance and all of that.
Because I've got my trusty dummy back here.
Yeah, that was it right
okay,
there.
that was better. That was better. I have to remember on the left, just as I do it, shorten up. Yeah, it's the same problem with the left. I tend to step out like I was doing with the right, stepping out too far.
Yeah.
At least I need to recover with the left.
I have but just a few minutes left, so I'm curious if there's another technique you'd like to look at.
Larry, please, this has been the Match Show. Please, is there anything you would like?
Oh no,
I'm willing to learn one that you know that I don't. So please knock yourself out.
No. I don't know very many.
Allow me to pick one then, because I think this is the one I'm most excited about, perhaps, in the whole system, and it's thrusting salute. It works against punches. It could be a jab, it could be a cross, it could be a step through. It works against club attacks. I even use it against a knife. It works against everything.
Okay.
And what's amazing about it is that it's what I was doing naturally when I would spar. When I would spar, my eyes would get really big and all my Kenpo techniques would go out the window. And I wasn't doing 5 swords. I wasn't doing thundering hammers. I wasn't doing any of that stuff. I was just trying to not get hit and then land a good kick. And that's exactly what we do in thrusting salute. We get the heck out of the way, we land a good kick, and that's it. And we have a couple of follow-up strikes that we can do. But if you use that, you can use it against a knife attack, you can use it against a club attack, and you don't even have to worry how he's punching you. He could be a boxer like Mike Tyson with the coolest combo. Doesn't matter. You just get the heck out of the way, kick him in the nuts. All right, so here it is.
And I believe that one I actually remember halfway decent. I remember you taught me that one pretty well.
So let's do thrusting salute. I will make this my 12 o'clock, or maybe I'm gonna do my 12 o'clock. And let's go ahead and start in stance. We're in a left neutral bow. And I want a nice deep stance. I want your on guard position like this. And you can even think of this as a kind of like a knife hand block. It's not just sort of relaxed hands like this, but really make it sharp. And you're gonna see here in a minute, we're gonna make it even sharper. And I want you to, again, as sort of a mental mantra of sorts, or focus point, think of the Okinawan karate masters, deep stance, strong guard like this. So here we are. Something's coming at us. It could be attack into quadrant 1. It could be an attack into quadrant 3. It doesn't matter. I'm going to push drag here towards my 430. And I'm going to do a downward block followed by a positional check. So it kind of has a universal block feel, but this rear hand is just going to be open. So let's see that one more time. A push drag to 430, and I'm orbiting my hands this way for a downward block. Yep. And so whatever it is, I'm sending it through quadrants 4 and quadrant 1. So we'll do just that much again. Get out of the way. Yep. It's coming too fast for me to figure out what it is. I'll only know after I block what it was. Push, drag, and block. Okay. From here, the left hand is going to reverse its orbit and become that knife hand block I was talking about earlier. The right hand is going to be a high and tight chamber like this. So really, this is the kind of Okinawan master thing I want you to channel. And from here, we're going to open the gate, which just means turn the toes for a front kick into the groin and a heel palm strike into the nose or the chin. Yep. And now the rear hand is guarding the ribs. Now there's one more kick after that, but let's skip it for now. So one more time, we're here. He's attacking us. We've got our push drag with the block. We're going to reverse that circle with a knife hand, a high and tight chamber here with the right hand. We're going to open the gate with a front kick. Heel palm. Yep. Now, the standard issue is to think about blocking on the inside of his right leg for a kick. That gives you his center line, so it's a groin kick for you and a heel palm to his nose. But let's say it was a left kick. It doesn't matter. I'm going to block. This time I'm on the outside of his leg. But who cares? I'm still going to do the same sequence. But now my front kick might go into his rib cage. I'll shatter his rib cage. And the heel palm strike will be to his temple or his jaw as he falls sideways from it. Yep. So rather than memorizing a new move for every scenario, it's just the one move. Maybe he's a boxer and he's coming at me with a jab punch combination. It doesn't matter. I'm going to push drag out of the way. And if I have his center line, it will be groin and nose, chin. If I don't have his center line, it'll be rib cage and temple. Kick something, heel palm something. So let's do that and start to connect the dots and really feel the flow. Ready? Yes. Now, a big part of this technique, once we're feeling comfortable. Yep. I'll let Larry finish there. Larry, when you do that downward block, make sure your hand is in a tight fist. It looked like you were doing a knife hand to his foot, and I just worry that if you're off by a little bit, he may kick your fingers. So, good fist there for the downward block.
Happened one time.
Yeah.
I dislocated my pinky. That did happen.
Ouchie, ouchie. Yeah.
Yeah.
So nice tight fist. Now, I would say the real secret to this technique is that blocking is for the birds. What is saving you is the push drag. And so let's forget the block. And I want you to push drag and kick as fast as you can. Right? So there is no block. Your hands are up. You're going to push drag and then launch into that front kick as fast as you can. Yep. So push drag. Oh, now it's not a lead kick, Larry. It's a rear kick. So you're gonna yep, push drag, and that rear foot comes. You're gonna push off of it. Yep. So no hesitation, no pause there to think about it. I want you to say push, 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 push. Yep. Now don't be so fast though that your momentum still carries you away from the opponent. I want you to change the direction of your momentum. You're going to push drag back, and then you're going to launch towards the opponent. Yes, there it is. So your push drag is on the diagonal. You're getting offline of whatever it was he threw at you. So you're kind of flanking him at this point by going off on the diagonal. And as he settles down, you're settling into him on his flank or his center line, but which is turned sideways to you. Yeah. And Matt, I'm watching you as well. It looks really good. Give me a few more push drag, launching into that kick. Yes, that's it. So you can appreciate that one maneuver right there works against anything. You didn't even have to block, right? You just take all your targets out of the way and then kick him where it hurts. So let's do that again, but let's add the block now just for completeness. So you got a push drag with the downward block. And as you launch, as I'm launching off of that rear foot, the knife hand comes up and the chamber is high and tight here at the pectoral. The reason why that's a good idea is that when you launch, you don't want to get clobbered in the nose, right? If he's even faster and smarter and more skilled, you don't want to launch and eat his counter to your counter. So as you come in, this hand is leading first, so that if something catches you by surprise, it's on your hand. And don't let it be here in your center line, but I want that knife hand to kind of sweep out and come across your center line this way to meet whatever it is coming at you there and redirect it through your quadrant 1. Yes. But now that we're blocking, we've lost our launching. Can we go back to launching? We're going to keep the downward block, but I want you to go push, push. Push, push. Yes. Push, push. Good. Yep. Now don't, Matt, don't let that heel palm come too early. You really want to lever that front kick, and the heel palm is just dessert if he's still around. But it's the front kick that wins the fight. Now, Larry, that knife hand feels like it's a little too ceremonial right here in front of you. I really want it to be, because think of that it is Mike Tyson, right? And he's got some crazy punch coming over the top there. You really want to get that arm leading the charge. It's going to hurt like heck, but get it out there to take it. Yes, that looks better. Yep. Yeah. Let's skip. Matt, let's skip the heel palm altogether, because I feel like your mind is there instead of the kick. So just do launch with the downward block, and there's only a front kick. Yep.
I do pretty well. I just have to remember to get a good.
Let's now. Okay, so now we've put some gusto to it. Let's slow it back down again. So we're gonna push drag and block, and we're going to freeze.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna reverse the orbit for a knife hand as we chamber, and we're gonna conceptualize a launch. We're launching off that rear foot into a front kick. And now with marriage of gravity, we've got all of our energy going into a heel palm strike. Good. Now, let's finish the move here. The finish, and I'll do this towards you. So I just did my heel palm. I'm going to step across the line with the right foot and do a left rear crossover for a right back kick before I cover up. Yep. And I want you to do this like a soccer player. I don't follow soccer very much, but I know there's a famous guy named Ronaldo. And he's very light on his feet. So when I do this move, I channel my inner Ronaldo, and I'll show you what that looks like. I'll make this my target over here. So look at my feet. You can see it's step, step, just like a soccer player or a dancer, right? Step, step, boom. So try that. Yeah, that looks really good. Yep. So Larry, what you will see is that little Ronaldo move into a back kick, that's our extension for every technique.
Oh.
Every technique is like 2 strikes, kick to the groin, bust him upside the head, and then Ronaldo into a back kick.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yep. Now, in this move, because the front kick and the heel palm strike are so devastating, we don't expect him to be still there in front of us. We're chasing him down with this back kick, right? In other moves, what we'll do is we'll do a single cover out. We hit him once, we hit him twice, maybe he drops right here. So we'll do a single cover, and then we'll Ronaldo to come back in. So you can think of it either way, as like a re-entry after a single cover out, or you're just right there chasing them down. Let's see it a few more times here, Matt. That was looking pretty good.
Sure.
That's it. Yeah, that had good flow and good power, good balance.
It feels that's been getting a lot better. So my balance is better. I can actually kick so much better. So
Very good. All right. With a minute or two remaining here, let's do some on the opposite side if we haven't already. So now we'll be in a right neutral bow, and we'll think about push dragging here towards 730, and we're orbiting our hands for a downward block. We're going to reverse that orbit with the hand sword, the deep hand block, in a high and tight chamber here. Let's do that much again. Push drag and block. Reverse the orbit with a knife hand. Now we can open the gate, which just means turn the foot for a front kick to the groin and a heel palm strike to the chin or the nose, and then you can Ronaldo into a back kick. One more time. Push, drag, and block. And think about, are you on the outside of a kick? Maybe you're on the inside of a punch. It doesn't really matter. You're going to reverse that orbit for a knife hand block as you kick to the groin or the floating ribs or whatever presents itself. A big old heel palm strike to the temple or the nose. And as he falls away, you've got a bonus back kick. That's it. Now let's remove the block and let's focus on the launch, because remember, blocking is for the birds. We have it here because sometimes it's a good idea to block, but most of the time it's the best idea is just to get out of the way. So we won't even block. We're just going to push drag on the diagonal. We're going to launch into a front kick and plant with a heel palm strike. The left hand's coming through the heel palm. Ready? So push drag. I got a left front kick and a left heel palm. Yep. Now, one scenario where blocking is for the birds would be a club attack. If the opponent is holding a wrench or a stick or something and he's swinging like a maniac, the last thing you want to do is put your arm out there. And so naturally, you're just going to push drag away and pull your extremities close to avoid getting hit. And as he's recovering from his miss and he's getting ready for round two, you've already launched and you've already landed your amazing front kick and shattered something on his body. Ready? So let's think of it as a defense against a club attack. You're in a right neutral bow. You could be swinging right hand, left hand, rear hand, lead hand. It doesn't matter. He's getting at you. You get out of the way. Pull your hands in tight and immediately launch that front kick. Boom. And then big old heel palm strike to finish. Yep. Now, don't miss out on a high and tight chamber for that heel palm. You can heel palm from here. If you pull your hands into guard, you could do a heel palm, but it's going to feel more like a high five. And we don't want to high five his face. If we start from a high and tight chamber, it's going to come in more like a push-up. Right? So let's see that a few more times here. You're push dragging away. As you kick, you launch, you got a high and tight chamber. Blammo with that heel palm strike. Yep. That looks good. And then if you want, you can think about Ronaldo into the back kick, if it makes sense. Yep, that looks good. Now, while we're here, let's think about a knife defense. You might say, well, the knife is the same thing. I'll just push drag away. And that's true. I want you to be a little more thoughtful with your hands, and I want you to bring them together. We call this a butterfly parry, a two-handed parry, and have your elbows touch. So you're going to round your back, and this forms your meat shield. This is where you're going to get stabbed by the opponent. Because if he's intent on stabbing you, you don't really have a say in getting stabbed or not. You are getting stabbed. The only thing you might have a say in is where. So this is where we're going to get stabbed, is in the arm. So we're in our right neutral bow. He's a maniac. He's coming in. It could be right hand, left hand, lead hand, rear hand. It doesn't matter. We push drag, and we turn our meat shield towards him, towards the threat. And if he puts the knife in our arm, that sucks, but at least it's not in our liver. And now he's going to eat our front kick, but there's no heel palm afterwards. I want you to go left kick, right kick, left kick. You're just going to pummel him like an ostrich or an emu until he goes down. So do that one more time. You're on guard. He's coming at you with a knife. You've got your meat shield up. Yep. And you're going to launch off that rear foot. Boom, boom, boom. Now you might say, well, why don't I kick him with my lead foot? And you can. We're going to see that in Detour from Doom. That's the other technique that I have for defenses against strikes. And so thrusting salute shows us step through front kick, step through heel palm. And Detour from Doom shows us lead leg front kick, pivot, hand strike. So it kind of is the complement. And it also has us thinking about different quadrants. But you only need these two moves. And if you only wanted to pick one, I would pick thrusting salute. So it's kind of your one-stop shop for defenses against everything.
I definitely like thrusting salute. It's that one I remember. It's got a flow to it that I like, that is easy to recall.
Yeah, I agree. It's natural, and it works pretty well. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to say here before we call it a day. Do you guys have any other questions or comments?
No, I don't. Thank you.
All right. Well, I really enjoyed this. Matt, you're coming along here really well, and at some point here, happy to finish out orange belt, and we can even dive into purple when you're ready. And Larry,
Well,
it's been way too long here since we've trained, and you're looking as sharp as ever. So hopefully I'll see you again next time.
Yeah, hopefully. It just depends on my schedule, but I should be able to make it.
Oh, I wanted to ask you both. Do either of you have an objection to meeting on Saturday afternoons, like around this time, 4:30? Is that better or
the
worse?
only issue I would have, it would normally work. I know I'm going to go down to see my son. He lives a couple hours from me, but that'll be next week. So we could shoot for the next in 2 weeks. That would be fine with me.
Okay, so as a general rule, though, there's no objection to Saturdays.
As of right now, no.
Okay.
Yeah, not for me either.
Okay. All right, then I might try Saturdays just so we could get Rafik joining us too. He said that Saturdays might work. So we can try it for a little bit, and if he doesn't join us or we just prefer Sundays for some reason, then we can always switch back. So, all right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you both.
Bye-bye.
Bye.